Hello everyone. In today's class, we'll be discussing about another type of algorithmic technique that is called as greedy approach. In the previous classes, we have studied about dynamic programming. We have studied about dynamic programming. We have also seen a few examples which employ dynamic programming technique. Now we'll start discussing about greedy technique. Both these algorithmic techniques are used to solve optimization problems. Now, what is meant by an optimization problem? These are the problems which require an optimal solution. That is either a minimum value or maximum value. If cost is involved, the cost has to be minimum. If profit is involved, profit has to be maximum. If cost is involved, the cost has to be minimum. If profit is involved, it has to be maximum. So both these algorithmic techniques are used to solve optimization problems. The approach is different. The approach of solving those problems is different, but the goal is the same. The goal is to solve optimization problems or to provide an optimal solution to the given problem. So what is the difference between dynamic programming and greedy approach? What is the difference between greedy approach and dynamic programming? In dynamic programming, we have seen that we have to consider all possible solutions for a given problem. Considers all possible solutions to the given problem. And out of all the possible solutions for the given problem that we have derived, we choose the optimal one. Here, only one proven method is used. In greedy approach, we do not consider or derive all the possible solutions. We derive only one solution using a proven method. Here there are no proven methods. Now, the method that we use to derive the optimal solution, this method is also said to be optimum. This method is also said to be an optimum method or optimal method, and using that optimal proven method, we derive a certain optimal solution. So these are the differences between dynamic programming and greedy approach. So the greedy approach says that we need to solve a problem in various stages. Taking one input from the problem at every stage. So we'll see this with an example. We have to solve a problem using greedy approach in various stages, taking one input from the problem at every stage. And after taking every input from that given problem, we check whether the input is optimum. We check whether the input taken from the problem is optimum or not. If it is optimum, then we add it to the optimal solution. We add it to the optimal solution. So these are the differences between greedy approach and dynamic programming. Both these approaches or techniques are used for solving optimization problems or to derive an optimum solution for a given problem. But the approach of these two techniques is different, but the goal is the same. Now, what are the differences? Here, dynamic programming considers all possible solutions to a given problem. Like if we have seen in Warshall's and Floyd's, we have considered all the possible solutions and we have chosen the optimal solution out of all the solutions. Here, there are no proven methods in dynamic programming. Since there are no proven methods, we have to consider all the possibilities. In greedy approach, there are proven methods. There may be one proven method or n proven methods, and using those proven methods, we derive the optimum solution to the given problem. Greedy problem or greedy approach solves a problem in various stages. At every stage, the greedy solution or the greedy technique takes an input from the given problem, checks whether that input is optimum or not. If that given input is optimum, then we add it to the optimal solution. We'll see this with the help of an example when we solve Prim's algorithm and Kruskal's algorithm. So I hope this is clear, the difference between greedy approach and dynamic programming. We'll see an example of greedy approach. Say you want to buy a car. Say you want to buy a car which has optimum features. You want to buy a car with optimum features in terms of safety, in terms of the different types of features provided in that car. So the problem is buying a car. The problem is buying a car. So how do you solve this problem? The one way of solving this problem is consider all possible brands available. Consider all possible brands available. So in those brands, again, you have to consider all the different types of variants. All different types of variants of all those brands. So this approach is time consuming. This approach is time consuming because you need to consider all the different types of brands of cars available in the market. Then in each of those brands, there are so many different types of variants available in those car manufacturers. So this approach is time consuming. This approach is time consuming. So we'll employ a greedy approach. So what does that greedy approach do? We'll filter out some of the car brands. We'll filter out some of the car brands. Say you have filtered and you have come up with only two brands or one brand. Say you have, after filtering out all the different types of car brands, you have come up with, say, Hyundai or say Toyota. Hyundai or Toyota. So after filtering out, say you have selected a car brand called Toyota. So in this Toyota, again, you will be filtering out the variants. In this, you will be only considering the top model. So in this top model, again, you will be filtering out, saying that I want the latest release. I want the latest release. So based on these proven methodologies, your own proven methodologies, you come up and you select a car which you feel that is providing you with optimum features after doing all these filtration processes. The car which you feel is optimum, has optimum features or the best features, may not be best for someone else. May not be best for someone else because you have employed your own filtration methods or proven methods to come up with an car with optimum features. So hence, since you have applied your own methodology of filtering out the cars and choosing the most optimum or the best car, such an approach is called as a greedy approach. Such an approach is called as a greedy approach. We'll see one more example. The problem is to choose one candidate for a job position. Say you have a software company or you're running any industry or company. And you want to choose a suitable candidate or the best candidate for a certain job position. So what do? You place an ad into the newspaper. Say 1,000 students have applied for that one job position. So what do? First, you filter out students based on percentage criteria. Say you have placed the criteria as students with consistent performance or throughout percentage has to be 70%. So based on this, again, you filter out students by taking a written test, by conducting a written test. Again, after the written test, you filter out students for the technical round. Again, you filter out students for the HR round. Then after the HR round, you choose one candidate whom you feel is the best. Whom you feel is the best. Other students may say that I have performed better than this student. I needed to be chosen for that position. No, but according to your proven methodologies, according to your proven process, you have chosen the best candidate. There may be other students who may be better than this particular student which you have chosen, but you have filtered out all the students based on these criteria. If you wanted to choose a best student using dynamic programming approach or any other approach, then what you had to do is you had to give a written test to every student or all the 1,000 students, give a technical round to all the 1,000 students, and give a HR round to all the 1,000 students. And out of those results that you get, you will choose one. But that is a lot time consuming. That is time consuming process. So you applied certain filters at every stage, and after applying filters, you came up with one best student. You came up with one best student. So this is what is called as a greedy approach. I hope the difference between dynamic programming and greedy approach is clear to you with these differences and these two examples given to you. The next example that we are going to study under greedy approach is Prim's algorithm. So Prim's algorithm finds the minimum cost spanning tree. Minimum cost spanning tree from a given graph. So we have to construct a tree in such a way that it gives us the minimum cost. So first let us understand what is meant by a spanning tree. What is meant by a spanning tree? Say I have a graph G with vertices and edges. I have a graph G with vertices and edges. So this spanning tree is a subset of this graph G, such that this is G dash. G dash is a spanning tree which is a subset of this graph G, such that the number of vertices in that spanning tree is equal to the vertices of the graph. Suppose this graph has 5 vertices, then even this spanning tree should contain all the 5 vertices. Does not contain cycles. Does not contain cycles. And remains connected. And it remains connected, which means that this spanning tree is not disconnected. So all these are the properties of a spanning tree. Let's take an example. So I'll take a graph. I'll take a graph which contains 3 vertices and 3 edges. Now I need to construct all the possible spanning trees out of this connected graph. So this is one spanning tree. This is one spanning tree. This is one spanning tree. And this is another spanning tree. And this is another spanning tree. As you can see, number of vertices in the spanning tree should be equal to the vertices in the graph. How many vertices in this graph? 3. So all these spanning trees contain 3 vertices. So vertices of this graph is equal to the vertices present in the spanning tree. Next, does not contain cycles. It does not contain any cycles. This is a cyclic graph. This is not a cyclic tree. Okay, so there is no vertex or there is no edge from B to C. There is no vertex from A to C and no edge from A to C and no edge from A to B. So this is a non-cyclic tree and it remains connected. All these vertices are connected. I cannot call this as a spanning tree. This is not a spanning tree because this vertex is not connected to any of the other vertex. So all these are spanning trees. So a graph, if you want to calculate the minimum cost spanning tree, I need to have an undirected graph. I need to have an undirected graph with weights. I need to have an undirected graph, a weighted undirected graph. So one approach to solving this is find out all the possible spanning trees. Find out all the possible spanning trees and calculate its minimum cost. Let's see in this example. These 2 vertices, so 5 and 6, what is the total? 11. These 2, 5 and 8, what is the total? 13. These 2, 6 plus 8, 14. 6 plus 8, 14. So which is the minimum cost spanning tree? This one. So this is the spanning tree which is giving us minimum cost. So this can be done if the number of vertices are less, like 3. What if the number of vertices are 10 or 20, 25? So finding out generating all the spanning trees for these many number of vertices will be time consuming. Is going to be time consuming. So what we'll do is we'll employ a certain method. That method is given by a person called Prim. That is why it is called as Prim's algorithm. So we'll employ the method which is given by this mathematician, and we will generate a minimum cost spanning tree. So we will not consider these two, which are giving us the maximum cost. So we are filtering out certain spanning trees. So one proven method will be used, and we will generate the minimum cost spanning tree. We will be employing the greedy approach for solving this problem. The problem is, a graph is given, an undirected weighted graph is given. We need to find the minimum cost spanning tree. We have understood what is meant by a spanning tree. We have also seen how to calculate its minimum cost. So I'll take another example with a graph, and we'll see how to solve this problem using Prim's algorithm. The graph has to be undirected, and it has to be weighted. It should have weights associated with the edges of the graph. Alright, so this is a graph, an undirected weighted graph. As you can see, there are no directions given, and there are weights associated with each of these edges. So follow a certain proven method given by this mathematician. So what he says is, choose any arbitrary vertex. Step 1, choose any arbitrary vertex. Choose any arbitrary vertex. I'm going to choose 1. Now find out step 2. Step 2. Find all the outgoing edges from that vertex and choose the minimum edge, or the edge with the minimum cost. So how many outgoing vertices are there for this vertex 1? 1 to 6 and 1 to 2. Out of these two, which one is the minimum? This 1 to 6, because the cost is 10. Next I'm going to follow the step 2 again. Now these two vertices, you can say these vertex 1 and vertex 6 are visited vertices. So from all the visited vertices, find out all the outgoing edges and choose the minimum. So from 1, which is the outgoing vertex here? 28. From 6, which is the outgoing vertex? This 6 to 5. So from 6 to 5 and 1 to 2, which is the minimum? 25. So choose this. Write down the cost as well, because we need to add it later. Next, out of all these vertices, these 3 visited vertices, check all the outgoing edges and choose the minimum. 1 to 2, 6 is already done. So we have to consider 1 and 5. So 1 to 2 and 5 to 7, 5 to 4. So which one is minimum out of all these three? This 5 to 4. So 5 to 4. What is the weight associated with that? 22. Right. Now, these are all the visited vertices. Check all the outgoing vertices from each of them and choose the minimum. So I have to consider 5, 4 and 1. So 1 to 2, 5 to 7 and 4 to 3. So out of these three, which one is the minimum? 4 to 3. See here. 1 to 2, 5 to 7, 5 to 4 is already done. 4 to 3. Which one is minimum? 12, 24, 28. 12 is minimum. So choose this. 4 to 3. What is the weight? 12. Now again, consider 1, 5 and 3. 4 is already done. No, 4 is also can be done because there are 3 edges going from it. So 1 to 2, 5 to 7, 4 to 7 and 3 to 2. Which one is minimum? 5 to 7 is 24, 1 to 2 is 28, 4 to 7 is 18, 3 to 2 is 16. So 16 is minimum. So write 16. 3 to 2. 3 to 2 is 16. Yes. Next. Again. 1 to 2, 5 to 7, 4 to 7 and 2 to 7. Which one is minimum? 24, 18, 28 or 14. So 14 is minimum. 7, 14. All the vertices are visited. Check. Yes, all the vertices are visited. So stop when all vertices are visited. You have to stop this when all the vertices are visited. Okay. You need to also check that there are no cycles forming over here. Are there any cycles forming in this? No, there are no cycles forming over here. How many number of edges did this graph have? You have vertices and you have edges. How many edges did this graph have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7, 8 and 9. How many does this have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think this has 8 then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again from 7 do we have something? I have 7 to 4 and then 7 to 5. But I can't do 7 to 5 also and 7 to 4 also because it will form a cycle. So I need to stop over here. I need to stop. Okay. So this is my minimum cost spanning tree. This is my minimum cost spanning tree. So I need to calculate the total. 10, 25, 22, 12, 16 and 14. So this will be 10, 12, 14, 14 plus 5, 19, 2, 4, 6, 8, 7, 8, 9, 99. So the total cost is 99. So this is my minimum cost spanning tree. So out of a given graph, if you want to consider the total number of spanning trees that can be generated using a given graph, it will be n raised to n minus 2, where n is number of vertices. N is the number of vertices. So these many spanning trees can be generated with the help of a given undirected weighted graph. So we cannot do this. Suppose this has how many vertices? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 raised to 7 minus 2. So this will be 7 raised to 5. So these many spanning trees I can generate. So I have to generate these many spanning trees and check which one is minimum. So this approach is time consuming. This approach is time consuming. So I have employed a certain method which is given by Prim, and I have come up with a minimum cost spanning tree. So the total cost is 99. So there's one more thing that you need to consider before beginning with this method. First, you need to remove or eliminate all loops from the graph. I cannot have a graph which has loops like this, 6 to 6. If there is an edge like this, please remove it. If there is a parallel edge, also we need to remove parallel edges. What are parallel edges? There is an edge from 4 to 3. If there is another edge like this with a certain cost associated, I need to remove one of them. So on what condition do I remove them? The condition is I need to remove the edge with the maximum cost between 12 and 15. Which is the maximum? 15. So I need to remove this. So these are the two preconditions, you can say: remove parallel edges and remove loops. So after doing this, you can start with these steps. You can start with these steps and come up with a minimum cost spanning tree. So this is how Prim's algorithm works, which finds out the minimum cost spanning tree using a undirected weighted graph. There is another way, or there is another algorithm for finding the minimum cost spanning tree, that is called as Kruskal's algorithm. That is called as Kruskal's algorithm. So we're going to employ a technique which is given by Kruskal. We have seen the technique which is employed by Prim's algorithm. So there is another technique which is given by Kruskal. Similarly, we're going to have an undirected weighted graph. We're going to have undirected weighted graph. Remove all the loops and parallel edges. That is the first condition. Remove all the loops and parallel edges. So what Kruskal says is, we need to navigate or start navigating these edges in increasing order of their weights. In increasing order of their weights. So which is, we have to start from the minimum and then go to the maximum weight. So which is the minimum weight in this graph? This one, 1 to 6. 1 to 6. Next minimum, 12. So 3 to 4. 3 to 4. The next minimum, I think 14. So it is 2 to 7. 2 to 7. Please write down the weights. 10, this is 14, this is 12. So we are visiting these vertices based on the increasing order of their cost. After 12, 16. So 2 to 3, 16. After 16, I have 18. So it is 4 to 7. So it is 4 to 7. But I cannot have 4 to 7 because it is forming a cycle. If I write 4 to 7, this will form a cycle and this is not allowed. Cycles are not allowed. Next minimum, after 18, there is 22. So it is 4 to 5. 4 to 5. Next minimum, 5 to 7. If I do 5 to 7, it is forming a cycle. So I can't do it. Next minimum, or the next one, after 24, it is 25. So it is 5 to 6, 25. So this is my minimum cost spanning tree. All the vertices are visited. Yes, all the vertices are visited. And we have visited all these vertices in the increasing order of the edges. In the increasing order of edges. Alright. So if I calculate the total, it will come to 99. So Kruskal's algorithm and Prim's algorithm have given me the same result for this graph. Alright. So in Prim's algorithm, we chose any arbitrary vertex, and from that arbitrary vertex we chose that we found out the two edges or the different edges that go out from that chosen vertex, and out of all of them we chose the minimum one, and we started doing these steps. We started following all these steps. After following all these steps, we came up with a minimum cost spanning tree. In Kruskal's algorithm, I will be visiting all the vertices in the increasing order of these weights. In the increasing order of these weights. So first I visited 10, then 12, then 14, 16, it was 18. I couldn't visit 18 because if I did, this would form a cycle. So I went to the next. It was 22. Next is 24. I couldn't go for 24 because it would form a cycle again. Then the next one is 25. I can't go for 28 because again it will form a cycle. So I stopped over here. This is my minimum cost spanning tree using Kruskal's algorithm. So I have only shown you how Prim's and Kruskal's algorithm works. What is the technique or the method that these people have employed in finding out the minimum cost spanning tree? So this proven method is used to solve a given problem, which is a greedy approach. Which is a greedy approach. We are filtering out the costs with maximum weights or the edges with maximum weights, and we are choosing only those the weights which have minimum cost associated with them. Right? So these are two algorithms with respect to greedy technique. Kruskal's algorithm and Prim's algorithm, which finds the minimum cost spanning tree. So you can take down any example, you can have any undirected weighted graph, and you can come up with a minimum cost spanning tree. Two things you need to remember: no loops and no parallel edges. No parallel edges. You eliminate parallel edges based on the cost associated with them. Whichever is maximum, eliminate it, remove it, and also remove self loops. So after doing this, come up with a minimum cost spanning tree. Thank you very much.